Hello everyone, my name is Al. Welcome to Cinephile. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 most anticipated reads. Most of them are for the end of this year or the beginning quarter of next year. Obviously, I'll probably make an updated version of this video once we get into next year, but right now this is what I have. These are the 10 books I'm excited about. 4 of them are YA books, 1 of them is a short story collection, and then the other 5 are adult books. So yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, the first book I'm most excited for is Heartstopper Volume 5 by Alice Oseman. A lot of people have probably seen the show now or read the graphic novels, but I've been like a longtime fan of these graphic novels. I think they're just absolutely lovely. And I don't have much to say on this because I actually haven't been keeping up on the webcomic as of late, so all of this content, almost all of it, if not all of it, will be new to me when I read it in physical form. The expected date is December 3rd of this year, 2023, but I don't know if that's going to be pushed back or whatever. And I also believe that this was originally slated as the final installment in the Heartstopper series, but that I believe Alice said that they are planning on doing 6 total volumes now, if I'm remembering correctly. If that's wrong, I apologize. But yeah, I don't have much to say about plot or anything. It's just a continuation of the previous books. And yeah, I'm excited for it. Okay, so the second book on my list for the YA section is Salvación by Sandra Proudman. It's pitched as a gender swap Zorro retelling in an alternate California where they discover magical healing salt, sal negra, instead of gold. 17-year-old Lola de la Peña must save her town by becoming the masked vigilante, Salvación, to stop a man who arrives with promises of a lasting Mexico, but who has left a trail of death and destruction. The publication is slated for fall 2024, which again breaks what I said earlier about most of these books being at the end of 2023 or beginning of 2024. However, I saw like another date that was earlier in the year, so I'm not quite sure, but I'm excited for it regardless. Next is Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Farida Abike Emire, who is the author of one of my favorite books, Ace of Spades. And I was obsessed with that book. I think it's one of the best books, if not the best book I read that year it came out. So naturally that was her debut and I was obsessed with it. So I was like, if I'm obsessed with an author's debut, I'm gonna look for what they come out with next. It's one of my favorite YA books ever, so I'm hoping that this will also be one of my favorite YA books ever. So I'm just gonna read what the description is. Sadeh Hussein is starting her 3rd year of high school, this time at the prestigious Alfred Nobel Academy boarding school, after being homeschooled all her life. Misfortune has clung to her seemingly since birth, but even she doesn't expect her new roommate, Elizabeth, to disappear after Sadeh's first night. With rumors swirling around her, Sadeh catches the attention of the girls collectively known as the Unholy Trinity. But when it seems people don't care enough about what happened to Elizabeth, it's up to she and Elizabeth's best friend, Baz, to investigate. And then a student is found dead. There's more to Alfred Nobel Academy and its students than she thought. Secrets lurk around her every corner, beneath every surface. Secrets that rival even her own. So I'm really excited for this. It sounds like a slightly younger version of the book that I'm writing right now. I'm hoping the plots are different enough and it's just the setting that sounds really similar. But I'm very excited. The cover is stunning. This cover, the Ace of Spades cover, one of my favorite covers of all time. I was like, there's no way that they're gonna be able to top this. Wrong. It's so good. It's stunning. So I cannot wait for this book. I'm so excited. I am hopefully gonna get it the day it comes out, which is March 19th, 2024. Sorry, I didn't have it in my notes. I had to look it up real quick. But yeah, I'm very excited. I can't wait. I'm hoping it's even close to as good as Ace of Spades, because if it is, it'll be fantastic. So the next book is Most Ardently, a Pride and Prejudice remix. I've not read any other books in this remixed series. However, I have been interested in the other ones that I've seen. This book is expected January 16th, 2024, and it's by Gabe Cole Novoa. And I'll just read the description again for you. A trans boy searches for a future and a romance in which he can live and love openly as himself in this heart-wrenching YA reimagining of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, part of the Remixed Classic series. London, 1812. Oliver Bennet feels trapped, not just by the endless corsets, petticoats, and skirts he's forced to wear on a daily basis, but also by society's expectations. The world, and the vast majority of his family and friends, think Oliver is a girl named Elizabeth. He is therefore expected to mingle at balls, wearing a pretty dress, entertain suitors regardless of his interest in them, and ultimately become someone's wife. But Oliver can't bear the thought of such a fate. He finds solace in the few times he can sneak out of his family's home and explore the city rightfully dressed as a young gentleman. It's during one such excursion when Oliver becomes acquainted with Darcy, a sulking young man who has been rude to Elizabeth at a recent social function. But in the comfort of being out in the public eye, Oliver comes to find that Darcy is actually a sweet, intelligent boy with a warm heart, and not to mention, incredibly attractive. As Oliver is able to spend more time as his true self, often with Darcy, part of him dares to hope that his dream of love and life as a man to be possible, but suitors are becoming bolder and even threatening, as his mother is growing more desperate to see him settled into an engagement. Oliver will have to choose to settle for safety, security, and a life of pretending to be something he's not, or risk it all for a slim chance at freedom, love, and a life that can be truly, honestly his own. It sounds incredible, and the cover... We are just having a feast of a year for book covers, because this is drawn and illustrated by Marla Moon, who is one of my favorite artists. And I just think it's like, it's a collision of my worlds. I have two of Marla Moon's artworks in my other room on the wall. It kind of just seems like everything I've ever wanted, so I'm very excited for this. Okay, so the next is the short story collection. It's a pretty hyped collection, so you've probably already heard about it, but it's called Out There Screaming, edited by Jordan Peele. This is expected October 3rd, 2023, so just coming up. And I'll read the description for you. The cop begins seeing huge blinking eyes where the headlights of cars should be that tell him who to pull over. Two freedom riders take a bus ride that leaves them stranded on a lonely road in Alabama where several unsettling somethings await them. A young girl dives into the depths of the earth in search of the demon that killed her parents. These are just a few of the worlds of Out There Screaming, Jordan Peele's anthology of all new horror stories by Black writers, featuring an introduction by Peele, an all-star roster of beloved writers, and new voices. Out There Screaming is a masterclass in horror, and, like his spine-chilling films, its stories prey on everything we think we know about our world and redefine what it means to be afraid. I love Jordan Peele's work. I've heard of quite a few of these authors, though I do not think I've read from them, like N.K. Jemisin, Rebecca Roanhorse, Nydia Okorafor. I've heard of them before. I've never read from them. I honestly don't read a lot of horror because, to me, I prefer to consume my horror in show or film format, but I think because these are short stories, it'll work wonders for me. And the fact that it's edited by Jordan Peele is just a stamp of approval for me personally, so I'm really excited for it. I think it's cool that it's coming out in October, and I can't wait to read these stories and hopefully find new authors through reading a short story collection, which I have not done in so long. Okay, now we're getting into the adult section of this video. The first book I have is Voyage of the Damned by Frances White. This is expected January 18th of 2024, and it's described as the following. For 1,000 years, Concordia has maintained peace between its provinces. To mark this incredible feat, the Emperor's ship embarks upon a 12-day voyage to the sacred goddess's mountain. Aboard are the heirs of the 12 provinces of Concordia, each graced with a unique and secret magical ability known as a blessing. A beloved heir is murdered, everyone is a suspect. Stuck at sea and surrounded by powerful people without a blessing to protect him, odds of survival are slim. But as the bodies pile higher, Ganymedes must become the hero he was not born to be. Can he unmask the killer and their blessing before this bloody crusade reaches the shores of Concordia? Or will the Empire as he knows it fall? It sounds like a closed room mystery with mythological, magical elements set on a boat. And that seems like everything I've ever wanted. However, this is allegedly 476 pages, which, guys, I'm getting tired of long books. All of these are quite long on this list, like around the 400 page mark. I can't keep living like this. I need short books again. But I feel like because it isn't a real world setting, like, you gotta add a good chunk of pages for world building. So if the world building's effective, it's not gonna bother me that it's 476 pages. And I know plenty of people who read like fantasy type stuff are used to reading really long books. It's just not usually my thing, but the premise of this book was so interesting to me that I'm definitely going to be purchasing a copy and at least trying it for myself. The next book is Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson. I know this is backwards, but he's the author of Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone, which at the time of recording this is a book that I've just recently finished reading. And my critique of it was, I do think it's like a teeny bit too long. I felt like it was a very complicated mystery to solve. Like, it was fair game, like you could figure it out. But once I got to the reveal, I was like, if I put more effort into trying to figure it out instead of just kind of being a passive reader, I probably could have figured it out. But until you get to like one main line in the book, I'll say it's kind of like impossible to piece together, at least to me personally. But I love train settings, especially if there's something afoot. I always tell people that if it's set on a train, it's going to get half a star more than if it weren't set on a train. Murder on the Orient Express is one of my favorite books of all time. And so yeah, I'll read y'all the description now. Ernest Cunningham returns in a deliciously witty locked room train mystery. The Australian Mystery Writers Society invited me to their crime writing festival aboard the Gone, the famous train between Darwin and Adelaide. I was hoping for some inspiration for my second book. Fiction this time. I needed a break from real people killing each other. Obviously, that didn't pan out. The program is a who's who of crime writing royalty. The debut writer, me. The forensic science writer, the blockbuster writer, the legal thriller writer, the literary writer, the psychological suspense writer. But when one of us is murdered, the remaining authors quickly turn into 5 detectives. Together we should know how to solve a crime. Of course, we should also know how to commit one. How can you find a killer when all the suspects know how to get away with murder? Oh, that sounds really exciting and fun to me. It's expected October 17th of this year, 2023, and I will be finding a copy of it. The next book is Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is a romance book expected October 23rd, 2024. I, maybe controversially, don't like to know too much about romance books. I think because there's so many well-oiled tropes in romance, but I believe it's the main character Daphne falling in love with her ex-fiance's new fiance's ex, which just sounds like a mess, and I kind of love it. So the next book is Come and Get It by Kylie Reid. Kylie Reid wrote Such a Fun Age, and I loved that book. I think it's kind of a divisive book, and the main critiques I've heard of it are that people do not think the characters are developed well enough. I think it's fantastic for a debut novel, and I loved it. So Come and Get It is expected January 9th of this coming year, and it's described as the following. It's 2017 at the University of Arkansas. Millie Cousins, a senior resident assistant, wants to graduate, get a job, and buy a house. So when Agatha Paul, a visiting professor and writer, offers Millie an easy yet unusual opportunity, she jumps at the chance. But Millie's starry-eyed hustle becomes jeopardized by odd new friends, vengeful dorm pranks, and illicit intrigue. Fresh and intimate portrait of desire, consumption, and reckless abandon, Come and Get It is a tension-filled story about money, indiscretion, and bad behavior, and the highly anticipated new novel by the acclaimed and award-winning author Kylie Reid. So, I'm excited. I really like Such a Fun Age, and Come and Get It sounds equally as tension-filled, and so I will be picking up a copy. The final book in the adult section is another romance, and it is Iris Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herring Blake. I have not read one of Ashley Herring Blake's book before. I know that the previous two in this universe, this Bright Falls universe, are very popular and well loved. So I'm gonna contradict something I said earlier. I did read the description of this one, and I was like, I have to get a copy of it. And basically, if I like this book, I'll probably go read those other two. So this is what it's about. Everyone around Iris Kelly is in love. Her best friends are all coupled up. Her siblings have partners that are perfect for them. Her parents are still in marital bliss, and she's happy for all of them, truly. So what if she actually cries in her Lyft on the way home? So what if she misses her friends, who are so busy with their own wonderful love lives they don't really notice Iris is spiraling? At least she has a brand new career writing romance novels. Yes, she realized the irony of it. She is now working on her second book, but has one problem. She's completely out of ideas after having spent all of her romantic energy on her debut. Basically from there, it kind of sounds like she meets a girl named Stevie. Stevie pretends to be her fake girlfriend, and she feels kind of inspired by this new fake romance to write her books. But to me, I just love a fake dating trope. So that's all I needed to hear. But yeah, if you like this video, if any of these books sound interesting to you, please leave a thumbs up down below. It helps out small creators more than you know. Leave a comment if there's any books you think sound interesting, any books you think I'd like based on these coming out in the future. Thank you. I love you. Goodbye.